Hey everyone, welcome to my channel Renovate. Today we will going to discuss the structure of the uterus and the layers that are consisting the part of a female uterus. So first we have to discuss the general structure of a uterus. You can see here the uterus is like a body and a tail going the narrower part. So this is the body or the inflated part is called as the body of a uterus, and this narrower part that is connecting the body with the cervix. The cervix is again the smaller part than the body through which the head of a fetus can be come out at the parturition time from a female body. So the isthmus is somewhat a neck-like portion that connecting the body with the cervix. The cervix is the last portion of the uterus. So the body, isthmus and the cervix form the uterus and the uterine cavity. The three layers of the uterus are the perimetrium, that is the outer covering of a uterus, the myometrium, that is the middle covering which has the muscles of the uterus, and this is the endometrium. You can see there's a small elevation coming out of the endometrium, is the inner layer or the most inner layer of the uterine cavity, and this small elevation are simply the uterine glands which are zoomed out here, and we will discuss this further. This is the uterine cavity. You can see here this part is called as the body, and the body contains the uterine cavity. The uterine cavity goes narrowing down and then it becomes the cervix. The cervix is again narrowing down to become the vagina. That is the final opening through the uterus. Vagina is also called as the external os or the external opening from the uterus. And the vagina, as the narrowing of the body comes, this cervix is forming, and this part is called as the cervix canal or the vaginal canal. You can see in this diagram this written as a cervix or vaginal canal, and this is the body. This is the uterus body, uterine cavity, cervix or the vaginal canal, and cervix and the external os. These are the part of the uterus. Also from the uterus you can see these are these small two hangings or like hands that are coming out of the uterine body are called as the fallopian tubes or the uterine tubes. They are the tube like structure. You can see that they are the ovaries attached to these tubes. So this is a fallopian or a uterine tube. In this part you can see it's again divided into four parts. That is the uterine part, that is toward the uterine body. Then isthmus, then ampulla. The ampulla is a major part where the fertilization takes place. Infundibulum and the fimbria. Fimbria are the thread-like extension or pseudopodia-like extension from the fallopian tube that catch the ovum which is released or the ovulated from the ovary. And then this ovum go from the fimbria, catch from the fimbria, go from the infundibulum, at the ampulla get fertilized, and then coming from the fallopian tube to the uterine cavity, and finally it get implanted into the endometrial wall of the uterine body. So here you can see these are the endometrial glands. The endometrial glands here you can see is dividing into three layers, that are the endometrium is again divided into two layers, that is the basal layer and the functional layer. The functional layer is the layer that is always, functional layer is the layer that contain the compact and the spongy part. The compact and the spongy part is the area that is dragged or that is being excreted at the time of menstruation. So the functional layer is the layer that is being excreted at the time of menstruation or being lost when the menstruation occurs with the extravasated tissues or the discharge that is coming out from the female body. So the functional layer at every menstrual cycle get lost, but the basal layer is the stamp layer and it remains every time at the menstruation. You can say that it's a regenerating layer that will undergoing the regeneration of the functional layer that was lost at the previous menstrual cycle. So the basal layer and the functional layer comprises to form the endometrium of the uterus. These layers have two things that are present in the endometrium is the uterine glands. You can see this, which is opening in the epithelium. By the dipping down of the epithelium, these uterine glands form. This is the neck of the uterine gland and this is the body of the uterine glands. And they are providing the mucus or the secretions that are helpful for the growth of the fetus that is going to implant there. And these are the spinal arteries that is going to be blood supply or the venous drainage of the fetus. These are the spinal arteries that are coming towards the functional layer, but they are The basal part is in the basal layer. So the spiral arteries are getting arising from the basal layer and they are getting spiral at the functional layer, and they have the capillary sinusoids that will drain into the venous sinusoids. So at the functional layer you can see the spiral artery and the body of the uterine gland. In the myometrium, that is below the endometrium, you can see here is the myometrial arteries and the radial branch of the spiral artery. That is, the spiral artery is coming from the radial branch, and the arcuate artery, that is the branch of the uterine artery, that is present in the myometrium, that is the muscular layer of the uterine cavity. So this is a zoom out diagram where you can see that the glands and the vessels and the arteries are present in these dipping down positions of the endometrial wall of the uterine cavity. So we have discussed the structure of a uterus and how the implantation take place. We will going to discuss in the next video. Until that, stay tuned. Thank you.